Hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of the CritCast, where we like to investigate the intersection of art and entertainment. And this time, we're going to be talking about the spooky video game Netflix series. I was going to make another joke about some shitty Netflix series based on a video game, but I can't think of any. But we're going to be talking about a real good one, Castlevania, Season 3. With me today is Jill and Trent.
Hey, yo, what's up?
Hello.
So, all three of us, have we watched all of Castlevania? Maybe not together, but we've watched all of Castlevania, right?
I most certainly have, yes.
Yes.
We've all recently watched Season 3 of Castlevania, which came out not too long ago, maybe like a week or two ago. And I guess we're just going to talk about it, because the Castlevania series is damn good. So I guess we'll just go from the start of Season 3 to the end, so I guess major spoilers, since we'll be going to talk about everything that happens in it. But
Spoilers! If you guys have not watched this, stop watching and watch Castlevania Season 3.
Yeah, watch all of Castlevania. The first season is like 4 episodes, and then it went up to 8 episodes for Season 2, and then Season 3 is 10 episodes. So it's not a lot, considering like most Netflix series.
Really? It was only like 4 and 4?
It was 4, 8, and then 10.
Huh.
Yeah, I know, like...
That's what Ross and I were talking about, because I was like, this season actually feels remarkably short compared to the other 2 seasons, and Ross is like, no, actually, it was longer. I'm like, what do you mean?
I thought it was...
pulls it up, but I'm like, what?
I thought it was longer than, that many episodes, but okay, apparently it's 4 episodes, and then 10.
Yeah, they've just been getting more episodes each season. So, I guess where Season 3 left off, we've defeated our intrepid trio of just the best boys and girls. Alucard, Trevor Belmont, and Sypha Belnades have defeated Daddy Dracula.
No, I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to say Sypha Belmont.
Oh, but that's a Season 3 thing. But yes, Sypha Belnades Belmont. Season 3 starts with them having kind of split up. Alucard has chosen to stay with the castle. Is the castle actually just called Castlevania?
No, it's still Dracula's castle.
Okay. One thing to note is that the show is remarkably accurate to the video games.
Well, the one thing is, there's also still the a Belmont estate,
mm-hmm.
which still has the Belmont, the Belmont hold underneath.
But yeah, so Alucard has chosen to stay with the castle since it can no longer move, and Sypha and Trevor have gone off to do monster-killing adventures. And that's kind of where we left off. Hector and Isaac, the 2 Forge Masters, still existed, and what's her name? The main vampire lady.
Oh, Carmilla.
Carmilla has returned to her own castle, where we meet 3 new vampire ladies, which are awesome.
Can I say that's just some very powerful lesbian energy going on there?
Oh, hands down.
I absolutely love it.
There is some overwhelming gay energy this entire season.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I looked and I was like, yeah, I fucking see you, right?
Yeah, so Sypha and Trevor happen upon a new town after their adventures killing shit, and Sypha loves it. Sypha's best combat mage ever.
Yep.
I'm sorry, she's best girl?
Yeah, she is indeed best girl, but I'm also saying she's best combat mage, because unlike a lot of other melee magic users in media, she doesn't use a weapon or make a weapon out of whatever. She just casts spells, and she's super good at using the full utility of all her spells.
That's what I really appreciate about Sypha, because we always see the really cool looking caster and all this shit, and they're just standing there and they're casting their spells, and while it looks really cool and they do the improv of whatever it is that they're fighting. Like, she just full on gets in there and just like we were talking about before, how she was using the shield, the ice pieces to shield a certain, one of the characters, and one of the enemies like stuck their hand through, and she's like, oh well, and then just activates it, and the shield turns itself, and it went from defense to offense, and it just, it got rid of that limb pretty quick. Now I think that kind of shit's really creative.
Yeah, no, she's... okay. She knows how to use magic, and she's also really not dumb about it, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, she's efficient and good. She's basically like almost like a bender from like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, no, actually, I'm gonna say she is the 180 of Trevor Belmont.
Where she's creative and with all of her spells and knows how to use them?
No, actually, that's not what I was going for. Is that Trevor Belmont is a very physical person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, she covers the things that Trevor can't do, and then likewise, Trevor to her. That's why they make such a good team.
Yes, and that's why they are so beautiful together. Although, I mean, they do hate each other, but apparently they've fallen in love.
No, they don't.
I think all those scenes of them being naked in bed together speaks to that otherwise.
Yeah, like this.
But yeah,
I was like, oh,
those two are together. Trevor is still a good, deep voiced boy.
He is. Like Trevor. I mean, like Sypha's actually, there's really no character that I actually legitimately hate. Like, Trevor is great. Like, I feel like there's just a big character development that went from like, season 1 where he just, he doesn't give a fuck. Like he was bitter. Like
he was a drunkard.
He was a drunkard. And then all of a sudden, like,
out of every place that he ever touched.
Yeah, and then now all of a sudden, like, instead of brooding about, like, what happened to, like, him and his family, like, he's getting back into what he was supposed to be doing, and he's really good at it.
Why does every story you tell end with you getting punched in the face?
Yeah, exactly.
But, like, I chalk this up to, and, I've been looking this up, every single episode of this entire series is written by Warren Ellis, who is a good, like, comic book writer.
Oh,
okay. Each episode has different directors and stuff, but every single episode is written by him. So that all the dialogue is so good.
Dialogue is still on spot on.
It's eloquent and meaningful when it needs to be, but then it's just crass and funny when it also needs to be. Everyone has a good, distinct personality. There's so many new good characters, like. Okay, so Carmilla goes back to her castle, and we meet 3 new vampire ladies, Striga, Morana, and Lenore. All of them are good.
I need to say this right now before you go on. Lenora, best vampire.
Oh yeah, she's got a big following now.
Oh yes, she does.
Oh yeah, she's step on me, mommy territory.
Oh no,
yeah, dude.
No, that's Strega.
Okay, yeah, she's the mommy, but Lenore maybe not be a mommy, but she's step on me. Like, that's her character.
Yeah.
So, without, like, just covering the entire, like, 10 episodes. So, Hector, one of the Forge Masters, was kidnapped. He worked for Dracula, and he can make, like, Night Beast. He can make an army. And Carmilla and the 4 ladies want him to work for them, but, he's...
Hold on. So, he's able to make Night Beast from dead bodies.
Right. But, so they want him to, hey, make us an army. But, of course, the Night Beasts are loyal to him, not to them. So, they gotta convince him, because they just kidnapped him and put him in a cell. So Lenore spends basically the entire season convincing him, being a diplomat, putting a leash on him, really, really getting to him.
No, I mean, I'm gonna say being a dominatrix.
She was good at convincing him.
At the same time, like this, I think out of everybody in this entire Castlevania series, like Hector gets
Hector got it
shit
hard.
on. He's getting it hard, and you know what? It has not stopped yet. But you could tell
He gets it hard, and he gets hard.
Okay, we're gonna get to that, but it's just fucked because like he literally, he thought of Dracula as a friend, but even then, like Dracula didn't really tell him like everything that he was planning to do. He didn't tell him like, no, I plan to delete all humans, because Hector was like, okay, maybe a culling, that's fine, like I'm cool with that.
He was kind of just going along with it, like hoping. I think like Lenore actually spells it out. It was always maybes and suggestions and hopeful, but nothing definitive from Dracula. So you just kind of went along with it, hoping for the best. Like, so, she was right.
Yeah, and like she was really spot on with that shit. That's why she could just manipulate the whole entire situation dealing with Hector. And Hector's like, yeah, okay, fuck, like you're right, but it's just messed up because like he's finally weaning off of that, and like I could absolutely tell that this is where the series was going. The moment Lenore is like, oh yeah, well this person's really good at this person's really good at that. I'm a diplomat, and I'm like, I know where the fuck this is going, and I want to see it to the end. And then I seen it. I saw it.
Yeah.
And like the last two seasons are probably not the last two seasons, but the last two episodes are probably the reason I was like, oh, this was short.
Yeah.
because so much happened in the last two episodes.
First 8 episodes they're not uninteresting, but they're slow burn. They're building up to a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last 2 episodes, everything goes bugfuck crazy.
Fuck.
Let's see, what else? Who else? There's Isaac, the other Forge Master, who is...
Yes, that was actually something I was going to bring up.
Oh, you want to talk about him?
Yes, because I think Isaac is doing the work of humanity.
How so?
So, I mean, within the last couple of episodes, there was a ball of all of these... Oh, I don't remember, but they were controlled...
It was just a bunch of, like, zombified humans being controlled by a wizard.
Yes. It was just a bunch of zombified people controlled by a wizard. And he got there, killed the wizard, and yeeted and destroyed the entire thing, and actually became the thing that he hated.
His arc is kind of... I think it was best laid out when he got on a ship with his night beasties with that Caribbean captain who's basically spelled out like, you were always living for something else. What do you want?
Yeah, I'd say that kind of made things a little more clear, because I'm like, okay, so like this guy's mad. Like, we know he's mad, and he's going across the desert, and he's like, okay, so, I'm going to get back to where it was, and it was a little unclear about that, and then finally, he was trying to look for Hector. I'm like, okay, so you're gonna take this entire night, night horde army kind of thing, and you're gonna delete Hector, or supposedly that's what you want to do. But what are you gonna do after that? And then all of a sudden, the captain comes along and and starts talking to him about shit, and it's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, like that kind of helps his purpose.
So this is what I have to say is that Hector, he really needs somebody to step on him. Where Isaac, he needs to be in the forefront.
Yeah, like, the whole deal with Hector was that his story arc was like, he was always kind of following someone else's orders, and Lenore just explained that, and like, hey, like, it's right there at the end, she's like, I gave you what you wanted, I made you my pet, now you can just do whatever I tell you to. But
yeah.
And Isaac needed to basically live for himself, rather than trying to do God's work or Dracula's work or do something else. Like, basically, what are you going to do after you achieve what you want?
No,
exactly.
No. It's not God's work that he's doing.
Or whatever his faith is.
His faith is with, oh God, I know what I'm...
Well, he was just, like, he was brought up rough, and he just, like, self-flagellate and stuff, so his faith was just to try and rid the world of evil and like purge himself of it too, bring purity to something.
Because wasn't he with that one like Christian dude, and then something?
Yeah, that's kind of how he learned all like the reading stuff. But then they betrayed him. Is like
right, because he was trying to learn how to read and write.
No, and then eventually, within the third season, he said that Muhammad, praise be his name.
Yeah, he's a Muslim, but
Yes.
the idea was that he was always trying to answer to a higher power or something, and the ship captain laid out, was like, well, once you've done what you wanted to do, what are you going to do then? Do you have your own story, or are you a part of someone else's story?
I really appreciate the captain. That was pretty cool.
No, the captain, hands down, best guy.
Yeah, and I like this. Like he saw a horde of like night creatures destroying a city. He's like, "Hey, you're not gonna kill me, man," because I can't do his accent. I think it was Jamaican or Caribbean, like very thick.
He was very
Caribbean
thick,
accent.
but
he was
So
like,
the general idea was, you don't kill my crew, I will let you be here.
"Yeah, make a deal. I'm going
because-
to.
And
He
that was
killed the
the entire
crew.
deal when it
Yeah.
comes to it.
I'll treat you with respect." Basically, that was it. He treated
Yeah.
him with respect, where like no one else gave Isaac some respect.
right,
he
because
says,
all
like-
they saw was the monsters, you know.
Yeah, when he said like when he got off the ship, it's like if anyone asks why I killed humanity, it's because you're all so fucking rude.
Yeah. And I'm just like, yeah, that's a mood right there.
But yeah, let's see,
sometimes I feel like that.
And if anything, and like this is being honest, I love all of Castlevania, but I think the weak part of season 3 is probably Alucard, since he was kind of really just separated from everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, like,
With
I was
what
more
it? Sumi and Taka.
yeah, like I was more invested with with Trevor and Sypha, and then the whole thing with like Lenore and Hector. Like I think sadly Alucard is kind of at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, he got the
But
short
I
stick.
did not expect that. I
I
don't
like-
think
like-
anybody
So
did.
I'm gonna ask a question right quick.
Yeah.
So first off, who were the two people who hung out with Alucard?
Sumi and Taka. They were Japanese. They were former thralls of that Japanese vampire that was killed last season.
No, they were not thrall.
Or like they were,
But they
like,
were under
enslaved or
control.
something.
Like
They
couldn't
were
do-
slaves.
Yeah, they were slaves.
They were slaves, and after the Japanese vampire was killed, they escaped and became vampire hunters because, like, you know, as long as vampires exist, they would always be in danger.
Right.
And so they sought out Alucard for help in killing vampires, and Alucard, well, just liked having someone else around. And like I could see his character
And-
arc.
No,
Yeah.
I need to say this. I don't like those two characters, and I do think that those two characters, Sumi and Taka, I don't think that those two characters should have existed.
I see the point of them in Alucard's arc. His arc
Yeah.
it was right there at like the very first scene of the entire season. He was alone and he was losing his mind and he was sad. He needed other people. Being alone in the castle drove Dracula, and as you can see here, drove
No.
Alucard mad.
No, I'm gonna say this. I think it would have been better if, Trevor and hold on, Jill, help,
Sypha?
Sypha. Trevor and Sypha came back and hung out with Alucard for a little while.
Well, I can understand the arc in the sense that the way the show has been structured so far, seasons 1 and 2 are more like two halves of the actual first season, and that follows the same pattern. Season 3 is the first half of the second season, so them coming back and consoling Alucard would make a good cap off. But the arc is that Alucard is falling to the same trap that happened to Dracula, being alone and then being betrayed by people who he trusted and loved drove him mad.
Right, because like it all starts with like the beginning, the opening part of the first episode. Like obviously he made little dolls of Trevor and Sypha, just to try and have like some kind of conversation. I mean, no one's gonna answer back, of course, but I mean, like that really sets it to like how lonely he was for that month that Trevor and Sypha were gone.
Mm-hmm. But these two come along and say like, hey, we want to learn how to kill vampires, and he's like, I like having people around, so why don't you come hang out in the castle? Like he's a little naive, but he's genuine. He wants companionship and he'll give them what they want. However,
No! Actually, I'm going to stop you right there. They want to kill the demon that's actually already dead now that I think about it.
They wanted to hunt vampires because as long as vampires existed, there was a chance they could be enslaved again. That was the point. And they wanted to learn killing vampires from Alucard.
Yeah.
They were free, but as long as vampires existed, they will never be truly free. That was the idea. And it basically came down to a misunderstanding. They thought Alucard was holding out on them, and Alucard thought that he wouldn't be betrayed, but he was betrayed during one of the 2 concurrent sex scenes that happened in the last 2 episodes.
Yo, that was like the worst. And it's sad because, Alucard was genuinely wanting them to learn, and he was giving them the tools to learn, but, they just wanted the tools. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, they wanted to...
Actually, you know what? Now the thing about it is Alucard was keeping them from certain things.
It's difficult to tell they were always asking, like, hey, how do you move the castle? And he told them it was broken.
Because it was
difficult to tell if it was difficult to tell if he was actually telling the truth or not.
But I think the worst thing that he was trying to do is to help them to kill vampires.
Well, he's fine with killing vampires. He killed his dad and all the other
vampires.
Yes,
he killed his dad, but that's not what I'm talking about. Is that I think he was trying to keep them away from the Belmont.
Maybe. I can kind of see that, but I would need to rewatch to see if he was doing... I think it was just that he was... I still chalk it up to the misunderstanding thing.
It's a misunderstanding and impatience.
Sumi and Taka wanted something... Wanted something he wasn't
they were
giving.
Impatient.
Yeah, they were impatient.
They were always impatient.
Yeah.
That's what it came down to. I'm sorry, I made a huge mistake.
Yeah, they were impatient, and it became just... They would end up betraying him, and... Well, he had to defend himself, and also Alucard's bottom, and
he totes the bottom, man. Like, it's... That question was answered hot fast right there.
Oh yeah, so during the last 2 episodes, after like a really good slow burn of season, it goes crazy with like 2 concurrent fight scenes and 2 concurrent sex scenes happening at the same time. Basically, all of the 9th episode is just that. We get to see some nipples, we get to see some panties.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about like the last 2 episodes at this point,
yeah, it's difficult to talk about the first 8 episodes because they're slow, but they're still very interesting, but they're slow, and everything just goes crazy at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it was building to that, and it all just pays off so good. Isaac and his army versus another army, Trevor, Sypha, and Saint Germain versus like a crazy cult people and a big demon. And then Hector getting it on with Lenore, or rather, Lenore pulling the old honeypot, and Alucard getting some from Sumi and Taka.
Yo, like when they came into his chambers, and I'm like, "Excuse me," and just looking at it and just watching this going on, I'm like, "Excuse me," and then the other scene flicks on, I'm like, "Excuse me."
He's getting a girl. He's getting a dude. He's getting everything. He's getting it all.
Oh,
so I also need to say that Sypha and Trevor, they really need to fuck and have a kid at this point.
Not yet.
Yeah, especially with the way the season ends, which is it ends on a down note.
I can see it in the future, but not yet. Especially with things like leaving off so sour in this, with the ending.
Well,
of the season.
In the future, but both of them, they are just so.
They got chemistry.
Perfect for each other. But when it comes down to it, you have the perfect.
They're gonna mix their bloodlines and get a perfect fighter who uses magic.
Shit. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yes, you will have the perfect vampire killer.
Oh yeah.
Probably when he's like, 1 year old, who would be like, I've got the mace. Whoa!
Yeah, and learning everything from the Belmont hold and shit. But the season ends on. I think it ends on kind of not a sour note because that makes it sound it ended badly. It didn't. It ends on a down note.
It ends on a down note. It's almost Trevor, like nobody wins.
Yeah,
not really. No.
I think it's best signified when Trevor and Sypha leave the village, where they basically spend the entire season. Now that I realize it.
No, I'm sorry. I need to say that Belmont wins.
Yeah, I mean they win, but like everything is lost in the process. But basically, like they came into the village, and and when they first arrived at the village, Sypha was all like happy-go-lucky, like, "Hey, we're killing monsters, ain't this great? We're hanging out together, we love each other." But when they leave, she's like, "What happened? How did this all go wrong?" And Trevor sums it up as like, "We were living your life, now we're living my life."
And I really appreciate that, because it's almost as if, like, Sypha herself was a little naive to the concept of, what Trevor actually does, Like, yeah, sure, like, you're fighting monsters and, you can save the day, like they're superheroes, right? That's kind of like almost a train of thought that I was getting from her. And then, of course, we see in the ending of, of what he said, now we're living my life, it's like, now you get a taste of, like, what, we're not going to always technically win all the time.
Trouble follows me around kind of deal.
Exactly.
But this is also Castlevania. So when it comes down to it, there is a dark force that's probably pulling the strings when it comes down to it.
Yeah, I hope, I'm betting, because, okay, again, if you're not already aware that there's spoilers, the fucking infinite corridor, what the fuck was going on with that?
That was fucking wild.
If I know, I'm confused, and I've spent days, not days, but hours, like, watching. I'm still confused.
I thought you were the Castlevania guy. I thought you could explain what the fuck you were seeing there.
I'm Castlevania guy.
Like, what was he fucking seeing when Saint Germain went in there and he was almost stepped on by a fucking robo-walker? What the fuck was that? Was he, like, visiting other Netflix shows? What the hell was going on?
No,
he's breaking the fourth wall.
He was going into the future and the past and the future and the past and the future and the past.
And that infinite library where this mysterious unnamed lady is trapped.
I hope we get to see them again. That would be pretty cool, because I want to know, like, who this person really was. I don't think he elaborated on that.
We never know. They never named her, the lady trapped in the infinite corridor. We don't see her. All we know is that it's a she, and she left him that glowing pebble that lets him trace it back.
Yeah,
but that's like it.
That was it. That was a wild ride. I'm like, whoa.
So yeah, what did we see when he was in the infinite? We saw that giant walking robot. We saw like a UFO and what looked to be like some kind of Mesoamerican pyramid.
There was some weird void shit that was going on. No.
Yeah, that entire sequence was like, what the fuck is going on?
No, it was a lot of future, shit.
Or like different kinds
time
of
periods or universes. Well, I mean, they literally spelled out Infinite Corridor is a portal to different universes, including hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe playing the oh god, what are they called? The oh, I don't even remember what the games are called.
I was gonna say Bloody Palace, but that's Devil May Cry.
Well, Devil May Cry is actually a good game, but I was gonna say the oh god, yeah, I'm bad at this.
I mean, when they first encountered the Infinite Corridor, I just went to the wiki. It's like, what the fuck is the Infinite Corridor? That doesn't really like in the fucking games. And it's like, okay, this doesn't really help much. It's basically just like an extra stage deal.
Huh. See, I'm gonna admit, I did not play a single game of Castlevania.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm just gonna watch it anyway. Holy crap, this is really good.
Oh, yeah, Castlevania.
But yeah, this like super good season. I'm trying to think of what was probably my favorite part. What would be my favorite part of season 3? I don't know. I think it was that Infinite Corridor sequence where Saint Germain was in there and seeing all sorts of crazy shit. Because that was just the point where I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, that was a trippy moment.
Do you guys have a favorite moment from season 3?
I don't know. Like, it's so hard to choose from. Oh, okay. So, all right. So, I guess favorite comedy moment was when they got to town, and then Trevor's like, "Oh, I need a beer, right?" So, like, he goes and he gets a beer, and then he he chugs it, and he's like, "Oh my god, this is better than sex and stuff." It's like, "Excuse me," and just freezes his beer, and she's like, "Oh, look, what a shame. Well, I guess if it's better than sex, then you can go fuck yourself."
Yeah, that was my first hint that they were actually sleeping together.
Yes.
I thought it was sort of implied, but before that moment, it was sort of just implied.
Yeah.
But then it became like, oh.
Yeah, I was like,
I love that moment too, because the voice actor and the animation made it seem like he was so desperate for it. He's like, oh god, beer. It's like, please, I'll give you a beer. I'll have one beer. I'll have a few coins for you in a moment after this one guy pays me. And the guy's like, you get one for free for killing that night.
He's like, oh, thank God.
You, I love
Yes!
you.
That one! Yeet!
I love you. The voice, the delivery, the voice acting.
It was pretty good.
The voice acting is great all around.
That is, like, my own personal favorite. It's just...
I love you. Trent, do you have, like, a favorite moment from Season 3? Other than the I love you beer moment? I think mine may have been the Saint Germain and the town lord, the judge, the guy who's like the mayor of the town.
Oh my God!
It was like they're just talking. It's like, oh, it's like, what do you? It's just a city thing. What the fuck is toilet paper?
I love that so much. I'm like, no, that doesn't relate to right now.
But that's unintentional.
That was unintentional.
But like one person pointed out, I saw on Twitter, is like, it's weird how the Castlevania series is historically accurate enough to demonstrate that in whatever century Europe this is, no one has toilet paper.
Yes.
But Lenore's panties look like this, and she's got little tiny,
she get the tiny
like
panties.
a silk panties with little bows. Like what?
Well, that implies, the whole, freaking, that rumor that's old as time that girls don't poop. So,
Well, she's a vampire, and I don't know vampires poop. I'll chalk that up to just being like, oh, they're vampires. She probably just thought it up. It's like, I'm tired of wearing burlap sack. Can you make me some silk panties?
Look, we gotta make it enticing, better than a burlap sack.
I enjoyed Lenore was great, especially after she finally tricked Hector during the sex. He like dragged him into the meeting room. It was like, oh yeah, I tricked him. He was inside me at the time.
Yeah, and everyone's like, oh, excuse me?
Like, I didn't need to hear that.
Carmella's like, ew, gross, get it away.
Yeah, I love the chemistry between all four vampires. Like, that moment was probably the most. He was like, Lenore, I didn't need to hear that.
Like, Laura, I really didn't hear that. Oh no, why? I'm just gonna keep him as a pet. He's like really good at the sex thing. And Carmella's like, ew, like just stop.
Yeah. And it's like,
all right. So I figured out a thing.
Oh, what?
So, oh god, what's her name? Liliana?
Lenore?
Lenore. So she is the biggest, and to me, I just realized that I hated her.
Oh yeah, she's manipulative. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, she's manipulative as fuck.
That's literally her entire arc.
I'm a diplomat.
Like, she's a diplomat, and she spent like a lot of time giving just food, clothing, anything that what's his name? Hector. Well, Isaac is too busy making.
He's making his way downtown.
Walking fast.
And then dodging missiles made out of people.
I'm making my way downtown, and nobody will stop me.
But yeah, that's how you like train a dog. Oh, you got all this shitty shit? I'll give you some shoes. I'll give you some food. I'll give you a shirt. You will like what I gave you, because I'm giving you a little bit
and
each
I'm
time.
Give you a room. Like, no one else would do that for you. Dracula wouldn't really do anything like this for you.
Yeah, like this is some like grade A.
Hold it!
Yeah.
Whoa!
I honestly think that if, Dracula was still alive, he would still try to get, oh god, what's his name? Help.
Hector
in his place, but since, oh god, Dracula is dead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, like, of course they would try and keep Hector. He has 2 Forge Masters. Like having a Forge Master is apparently very valuable for a vampire, because Forge Master has to be a human, and vampires aren't humans.
No, Forge Masters have to be human.
That's what I said.
But the thing that I'm more worried about is the fact that he's forced against his will.
Well, that was the whole deal with the final trick. While Hector was inside her, she put on that like cursed ring.
Well, we need to have the next season.
Yeah,
but I'm more worried to see what happens with the I want to say promise ring.
It's basically a promise ring.
It is. It's like the worst promise ring.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying is promise ring. Y'all laughing, but
And I loved how easily she lied about it, because she was wearing it first, and he was like, "What's that?" "Oh, it's the thing that me and my sisters wear, because it's night and blood. It binds us." And then later on, after she tricks him to wear it, she just tosses them to the others, like, "Hey, wear these."
Technically, she wasn't really wrong, though. She she told him that, but she made it in a way that it was just it's just a symbolic thing. So it was like, oh, that's a real well played part on your behalf.
No. Actually, she did something that you guys forgot.
What? What'd she do?
It wasn't with the ring. The ring was at the end of it.
Yeah?
She wanted him to be his. Sorry, wanted him to be her.
Yeah. She wanted
before
a pet.
they had sex.
Yeah, she was at that point, like, before the ring, she had basically, like, trained him to be her pet, to be loyal to her, because, hey, he was in a shitty place, and she gave him something which, like, endeared him. But the ring was just like, hey, now you can't back out, idiot.
Exactly. Hook, line, and sinker. Oh, God.
Yes, it was hook, line, and sinker, but I'm gonna be on...
Yo, why you gotta be like that?
Because nobody's gonna stop me.
Let's see, is there any other character we missed? Striga and Morana, they didn't get a lot of screen time, but they were good. I liked them.
They were good. It was cute. It was cute kind of listening to them.
Yeah, I like that they were together, lesbian vampires. I saw that Striga has a lot of fan art because she's big buff lady.
Oh, she big buff, man. She
They
reminds me
are
of the
gay.
one character from Critical Role, Yasha. Sort of.
They are gay.
Yep.
I care not.
They're good girls.
Yeah.
I like that they got the quartet of vampire ladies got a system going. I'm the diplomat, she's the fighter, Morana's the organizer, although that didn't really give him a whole lot of play, because that's not exciting to watch. She's just like, I know where to
she
move
just
money.
plans shit, yeah.
And Carmilla is the dreamer. She comes up with the schemes.
And then they're the ones that make it happen.
Yeah.
And they go, this is stupid, Carmilla, but then they do it anyway.
I mean, there's a dreamer. There's always a dreamer in a group.
Yeah, someone's got to be the idea person. Let's see. Saint Germain was good. He was just fun.
I liked him, and I really hope I get to see him again.
Yeah.
What about the judge?
The judge was fun.
That was a trip at the end.
Yeah, it's because I couldn't tell if he would be the good guy or bad guy by the end of the season, because like he was actually helpful, and yes, he was mysterious and weird, but he didn't seem to have any kind of malevolence toward anybody. Like,
didn't seem
like he would, like, his job was to look after the town, and sometimes that requires that you be a harsh leader. It's like, okay, that's understandable, but then turns out he's like a weird murderer.
Yeah, okay, so it was nuts because I was a little confused about like what he was getting at, because you know the one kid that was like running, he was like fucking around in the village, right? And he was like, you know, pissing people off.
Stop running.
He's like, yeah, stop running. I always told you stop running. And then he tells the kid where to get these, you know, these sweet apples. Like, oh, it's like, you know, my apple tree, you know, and go on and get it. I'm thinking to myself, well, hang on a minute, you know, there's like all these creatures running around.
Yeah, that was my thought too. Like,
so I was
is he
like,
sending
wow,
this kid
that's
out to
weird.
die?
Yeah, so I'm like, oh my god, this dude is setting out this kid to get eaten by, you know, all the creatures in the forest. And then I kind of forgot about it because, you know, like we're more focused on what's happening around, you know, in the town and, you know, the demons and
it was a character moment, but it moved on.
And then at the very end, that's when I remembered. I'm like, wait a minute, you know, that kid. And then that's when we got to see, you know, what the judge was really up to. And that was nuts. I was like, what? Oh, that was really good, because I was like, you know, what happened to that kid?
Well, I kind of saw some of it coming, because whenever they had scenes in his house/office, there was always that mysterious door and key. Like, that was always like prominent in the framing. So I was like, what the hell is back there? I didn't think
that's true. See, I didn't really pay attention to that.
Yeah, I thought he would be like working with the evil priory, but I guess not. But yeah, like Castlevania season 3 is so good.
That was pretty good.
And I can't wait for season 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that the climax is going to be, Sypha and Trevor return back to Alucard and find that he's fallen down the same hole that Dracula went down in.
Yeah,
And that's
like
your ultimate conflict. You're like, we used to be your friends. What happened? And then it turns out, like, well, he repeated the same mistakes that his father did.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate, and my heart went out to Alucard.
I honestly don't think that Alucard could be his father.
He did the whole impaling thing.
I mean, that's just two.
His
we don't know
final
how
line
many
is
gonna
like,
be.
his final line is something like, a big sign. Maybe I should have put up a big sign, but these seem to work for dead old dad. And then it zooms out to show the
I was like, baby,
Sumi and Taki are impaled.
Yeah, that was nuts, man. I was like,
that's sort of like the ultimate thing. Like, he's become his father.
Yeah, like he's starting on. He's getting started on that nonsense. So hopefully, friends will come back, so he doesn't go nuts.
Or
and they can talk some sense in him.
Turn him back or something.
Turn him back. Don't let this precious being go down the bad path.
That was his arc. Like, he was alone, and now he had a couple of friends, and they exchanged words and barbs, but they were still friends, and it made his life better. Being alone is what caused him to go nuts.
Yeah, that was his arc was sad. Like, maybe it wasn't the arc that I was really trying to pay attention to, but it was still sad regardless.
It seemed more like a setup arc for the next season.
Yes.
Yeah, can't wait for season 4.
Oh no, it was that, Alucard tried to be good to people, got betrayed.
Mm-hmm. And then he was alone, and he let people into his life. And then he got betrayed, like you said, and that would kind of drive him further into isolation.
Except the only problem is, I think that, Trevor and, Sypha, Belmont, you know what? They could fix it.
I hope they do. That's probably the main conflict at the very end. Turn him back. You don't have to be your dad. We're here for you. I know we're not always here for you, but we're here for you, kind of deal. But yeah, I don't see any word on season 4, probably because it only came out just now. But yeah, that was such a good season. I hope there's more of it, and I'm glad I was able to talk with you guys about it.
Heck yeah,
it was super fun. So I guess we'll wrap it here for now. If you stayed all the way and you're still not convinced, definitely watch it. It's on Netflix. It's super good. All 3 seasons are up there. It's 4 episodes, then 8 episodes, then 10 episodes. It's not a lot. Watch all of them. Very good. Very, very actiony, very bloody, very, very titty. Did the other seasons have titties?
I don't think so.
Oh no, they didn't have titty.
No, they didn't have titty. That's why I was surprised.
No.
Like, whoa, titty,
There was titty, and then there was a few man dong.
There was. It was like the half seas.
Yeah, when Hector was being thrown around the cell while naked, there was some angles where they couldn't avoid it. But there's pubes.
There was pubes.
Well, I mean, that's not titties. That's Dickies.
Yes, there was Dickies too. There was some half Dickies, but there was full titty.
There was some full titty. I was like, whoa.
I think we have some differences in titties and Dickies.
Yeah, they're treated differently. I think you can get away with some titty. You can't get away with full Dickies unless you're HBO.
That's
fair.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, so we're not going to see Alucard's dick anytime soon, unless they somehow let Castlevania do it.
How are you guys letting me get away with this?
It's fun. Anyway, see Castlevania 3. Trent, Jill, thanks for coming on and talking Castlevania with me.
No problem.
Hey, no problem. I'm just a shitter.
We were all shitters. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this. I hope you all watch Castlevania Season 3. And whenever Season 4 comes out, I hope you'll join us then too. I wish you all a good night and good luck. What about you two?
Yeah, good night.
Don't let the Draculas bite.
Hey.